Alabama and Tennessee, there's been a thing going around online that there's a guy who's thinking about firing an employee so he won't have to go to a wedding and miss this game. Because it means a lot. We talked about the fans. It means a lot to the players, too.
Launches for the end zone. Jump ball. Intercepted. The freshman makes a game-saving play for Alabama.
You got to be able to run the football. They make that difficult because of who they have. They're going to load the box. We got to protect, we got to throw, and we got to catch.
It's like a playoff game. We're going to do our job, win the one-on-one battle. I believe it'll fall in place.
Well, our main objective is to get to the ball fast, get lined up quick, cleats in the ground, and run.
Sampson, end zone, ball game. Tennessee wins.
They also want to run the ball. With the wide splits, they create gaps. And the running back does a great job of hitting those.
He had great pace and vision. In this league, you got to be able to run the football if you're going to be effective.
Sure, he's a hard runner. Makes a lot of tackles, doesn't let the first guy tackle.
When a historic rival comes into town, he means a little bit more to this fan base.
Alabama's defense has been shaky in certain spots. Nico Iamaleava is yet to throw for 200 yards in an SEC game. So you're looking at a couple of teams trying to fix some things, Nick.
Well, I think the number one thing is when Tennessee can run the ball, that opens up their play-action game. They throw the ball vertically down the field, which is what has been absent in the last couple games. But the other thing that Alabama has to do is when you play one of these no-huddle fastball teams and you don't get off the field on third down, they're going to go fast, and that's what wears your defense out. And you're going to have to do it with the people that you have in the game. When they beat us up there a couple years ago, we had this 6 DB plan, exotic stuff that we were going to do. First couple of times we put it in the game, we didn't have 12 guys on the field. We had 15 guys on the field. All right, so we had to play the game with the guys we had in the game. So now they get their best receivers matched up on our safeties and make big plays. But for Alabama, you better get off the field on third down, which has been a problem for them the last couple of weeks.
Tell you what, when I look at Alabama, it's like I'm looking at a team that's like stuck in this abyss. Like they're stuck between who they were and who they want to be. Like who they were with Coach Saban and now who they want to be with Coach Kalen DeBoer. So this team doesn't have an identity. We talked last week about the culture. Seems like there's a lot of mouthing. Guys are just worried about things off the field. When Coach Saban was there, they would focus on the opponent no matter who they were, no matter what their ranking was. They focused on being a better team. They focused on themselves, not their opponents. So it seems like they're kind of stuck in this abyss right now, Pat.
A lot of noise, obviously, for Alabama. And if you look at the last couple of weeks, they have not been able to run the ball. They're taking on a team. And, Morgan Wallen, great American country musician who sells out a stadium in every town that he goes in, massive Tennessee Volunteer fan. He told me yesterday, he said, Heupel needs to let Nico Iamaleava let that thing spin a little bit. Go ahead and let it rip. Maybe you take the training wheels off. But if they don't do that, they'll be able to continue to rely on their run. Dylan Sampson in this offensive line, they're able to pound the rock. And they play fastball, and they use formations to kind of let them lighten the box. Here's some tape on this Dylan Sampson Tennessee-led rushing attack. Now, look, we got these wide receivers way out, way out. 5 in the box. What's that mean? Well, it's very light. We just showed it pretty quick. Nico makes a check. Dylan Sampson's able to break through the first line. He's got incredible vision, incredible explosion. Out the gate. See you later. Everybody thinks Heupel and Hendon Hooker and all that. They're pounding the rock right now. And their offensive line, here's classic tag, tackle, guard, pull around the outside. Dylan Sampson gets the rock. He's patient, like he's Le'Veon Bell. And look at the big man getting downfield. They've all bought into the culture. And once again here, wide splits. You have a light box. They're going to take advantage of this. Alabama's going to have to figure it out, whether it's 6 DBs or they keep the same people in and you have more conditioning. Because with how fast they're going, you're lighting the box. All Sampson's got to do is beat one. He's able to do that to the crib. Everybody thinks about Heupel and Hendon Hooker in the Tennessee offense. Fastball. They're going to get up there. They're going to air it out. It's like they've been pounding the rock. And I think a lot of Tennessee fans are saying we need to start spinning it as well. Because if they can get both of them going, really, really dangerous team.
I think we've been waiting for them to get both going because that's the Josh Heupel offense. The problem is in the last 3 games, on passes thrown 10 yards or further down the field, he's completing 34% of his passes. That's a major problem for this offense that wants to pound. But as Coach said, once they're able to pound, they get people down to the line of scrimmage. Then they create those vertical shots. They're not hitting them right now. So Alabama, I think, will show what's happening to me is showing one thing, going to another, as he'll tell you, that is a nightmare. I don't care how good Nico is. He's still learning. He's a freshman. So Alabama will look to confuse him with a lot of pre to post-snap looks today.
Yeah, a couple things, too. Real quick one here, Nick.
Well, a lot of people in the last 2 games have played odd defense, 3-man front, more linebackers, more depth in the defense, more coverage variables that doesn't give him sort of the pre-snap tell and read on what they want to do. So that's something he's going to have to grow into.
Yeah.
You know, Tennessee hasn't scored a point in the first half of the last 2 games, and Iamaleava's been really had struggled when he's been under pressure. This matchup demands that we have an Old Dominion best in the game, and that's what these two have been for sure. Look at what Texas defense has done. We talked about some of the stats. The Georgia offense has been prolific. The Georgia offense, they throw the ball more than 60% of the time. Don't run it quite like a lot of these Bulldog teams have in the past. It's going to be a different kind of challenge for both sides against these 2 teams.
Yeah, I think the number one thing for Georgia is they're going to have to be able to run the ball some and create some balance. I don't know if Texas has got one of the best defenses in the country, but they haven't really been tested. They will be tested tonight. But I think the interesting thing will be, you know, Sark will have his script to start the game. And maybe it's not successful, but what he's really looking for is what kind of tells can he pick up based on formations and motions that he can use later on in the game to create some explosive plays. So Sark's really good at that, and I think that'll be a real key for him.
You snuck that in there. You don't think Texas is one of the top defenses right now? You just judgment will still, they're going to get better competition starting tonight.
They're athletic and they're very good, but I don't think they've played the level of competition they're going to play in Georgia's offense.
I just wanted to clarify that because it kind of snuck in there. All right, let's talk Carson Beck. Carson Beck is right now, as Coach mentioned, kind of you looking at me, kind of carrying the load here. I just feel the gaze here.
You know what?
I feel gaze.
And the beeping of the bus backing up over Nick right there.
No, he made a great point because everyone else is celebrating Texas's defense as being the greatest. He made an observation before.
You don't have to explain.
All right, let's get back here. Let's get back here. All right, so Carson Beck, again, we're used to seeing Stetson Bennett, running game, set up the pass. Now it's been all about Carson Beck. It puts a lot on him. So let's look at that Alabama game. Early in the game, I think he felt like he was trying to do too much. I think it was a growing opportunity for him. Forcing some throws, zone coverage. Keep in mind, Texas plays a lot of zone. Forcing the throw, has such trust in that arm, throws it into those tight windows. There's an interception, something he's going to want to avoid to do tonight against the Texas defense. Communication, pre-snap. Looks like he's got a look pass, real quick, soft corner. Arian Smith doesn't pick up on it. On the road, tough environment, fires it out there. He's got to make sure he and his receivers are on the same page. Second half, down 30-7. Look at the pocket presence. Look at him work, manipulate the coverage, makes a nice throw, gets it down before the safety can come over. This guy can spin it as well as anybody in college football. Here he does a good job moving the safety, a little shimmy, downfield. This was desperation time when they had to have it. And this guy, 86, Dylan Bell, I think has a chance to be a difference tonight if Georgia ends up winning this football game. So there's a lot there, Des. I think they've got to be able to establish the run a little bit more tonight. Coach just mentioned that. Take some of the burden off of always being one-dimensional and relying just on Beck in the pass game.
Yeah, great tape. I think Georgia's offense will present some challenges to Texas defense. And, Coach, you made an excellent point because it's hard to judge a team's defense based on offenses that really can't move the ball, don't have great quarterbacks. But I love this Texas defense because I love Anthony Hill Jr. Listen, tonight at 7:30 on ABC, make sure you watch number 0 when the Longhorns on defense. He's a middle linebacker right there. Moves up as an edge rusher. That running back is about 5'10", 185 pounds. He ain't want that work right there from Anthony. Anthony tracks down the quarterback. Watch his right arm. He strips the ball, forced fumble, baby. You can't teach that. Now, here he is right here. He's a 3 technique as a mug, right? The right tackle is going to try to come instead of trap block on Anthony. Watch his athleticism, how quick he is. He diagnoses the play. He tackles with aggression. Look at the running back. On his, just remember that picture right there, okay, everybody? Now, he's a spy in this game. Very versatile, very athletic. He's spying the quarterback. The wheel linebacker has the running back. Anthony has the green light, even as a spy. He can go whenever he wants to. He notices that the rush flushes the quarterback out to his left. Watch how he triggers and he closes. He's really sudden. Again, look at that. Yeah. He's putting guys on their hand like they're breakdancing. I love what Anthony Hill Jr. brings to this Longhorns defense. I don't give a damn who the opponent is. He plays with such aggression. He's so versatile. When y'all watch this game tonight, America, on ABC at 7:30, every time they mention Anthony Hill, he goes, that's the guy who Desmond Howard talked about on College Game Day this morning. That's right.
You watch a good
Absolutely.
film, Des. Good film, Des. And, you know, the thing about this defense, and Coach Saban said this about me last week whenever I talked about the Ohio State defense being the #1 defense. And he goes, well, who they play, all right? Like, and then Oregon does their thing. Same exact situation with Texas, who they play, all right? But what they have on that defensive side is awesome, in theory.
Yeah.
They disguise things. They got dogs all over the place.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to talk to Coach Sarkisian yesterday, and he said, our team has to choose violence, and we choose violence every single play. And then they have a little motto around here called FAFO.
Yeah.
F-A-F-O.
Okay.
And you can piece that one together, but you're going to something around, and then you're going to find out. I think their defense is excited for the challenge tonight. Now, with that being said, they're favored by a lot, Steve. I think this entire situation with the sports books, with how they view Georgia and view Texas this week, has been a fascinating story.
First time in 50 games, Georgia's been an underdog.
Ooh.
Georgia's won 50 games in a row against teams not named Alabama. Georgia's going to play well because Texas doesn't have a run threat at quarterback. But the game's going to come down to special teams.
Okay.
Texas wins on a walk-off field goal. Georgia
I'll take
covers
that.
the
That's
number.
a guy calling a game.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Field goal.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
So every time
If the game comes down to special teams, Jeff Banks is the best special teams coach in the country. He was our special teams coach. He's here with Sark now. They will create an advantage for themselves on special teams.
Yeah, so America,
There's no
There's
no doubt those Texas special teams will bite you every now and then. You know, a little trick-or-treat action there, and all of a sudden, boom, big surprise.
Yeah.
You never know what might happen there.